Wilder Girls by Rory Power is the worst book I've read so far this year. Now, that's not to say that Wilder Girls is the worst book I've ever read, but it's also up there. I've read worse. I've DNF worse. The fact that I was able to finish Wilder Girls indicates that it's not the worst. But it is not good, and I am here to tell you why it is not good. Wilder Girls is a story about a boarding school located on an island. A virus outbreak called the Tox has spread throughout the school, killing off anybody who is not a biological woman, and predominantly sparing only those who are under the age of 18, with some exceptions. It primarily focuses on 3 main students: Hetty, Bayeth, and the third one, whose name I cannot remember. I believe it's like Riley or something. So I'm going to call her Riley. Or third girl. Whatever I feel like. I'll just call her. Hetty is our main point of view character, but we also get chapters from Bayeth as well. The 3 of them make up a little trio. Then Bayeth gets taken away one day, and then this story kind of spirals from what happened to Bayeth as Hetty goes out of her way to go find her. This review contains spoilers. So, if you don't want it spoiled, turn back now. But I recommend you stay, because I am going to do some ranting, because I have feelings. So, this book was pitched to me as a feminist retelling of Lord of the Flies, and I demand to know who came up with that, because this book has nothing to do with Lord of the Flies, nor is it particularly feminist. So let's take those 2 things apart. First of all, let's start with the feminist part. An all woman-led story does not a feminist story make. So, one of my favorite books is A Thousand Splendid Suns, and this is a feminist story. This focuses primarily on 2 women in Afghanistan in about in the 1980s. And it focuses on issues that affect women. It focuses on their relationship as women. It focuses on how they deal with sexism. This is a feminist story. Wilder Girls is not a feminist story. Now, that is not to say that is a bad thing. I don't particularly care if it is a feminist story or not. There is really no reason for them to be women other than the simple fact that they are women. This story could easily be told about boys. There's nothing really feminine about it. There's nothing really womanly about it. It's not. They're just women. It's an all-girls boarding school. That's all it is. You could easily switch out and say it's an all-male boarding school, and nothing would change. And that's kind of the problem. This could not be told by any point of view besides women. That's the difference. This is what makes this a feminist story. And again, it's not because it has anything to do with the actual feminist movement or anything like that. It's just this story would not exist unless it was told through women's eyes. This could only be told, this is a woman's story. It could only be told by women. And I say by women because the women are the main characters. The author is a dude. If you ever read this, I recommend it. Good story. But Wilder Girls, if you turned around and you changed them to men, nothing would change. Nothing would. They're not fighting against like the patriarchy or anything like that. The only like people that have any power over the main characters are women as well. Even the government research base that is studying them is run by a woman. And there's no dissection of periodical structures or anything like that. It's just not, there's nothing feminist particularly about it. It just doesn't have anything interesting to say about being a woman or anything like that. So the second part, Lord of the Flies. Whoever has pitched Wilder Girls as Lord of the Flies, y'all clearly haven't read Lord of the Flies. You just haven't. I'm sorry. I wish you have. It's a good book. There really are no parallels here except for it's a group of people that identify as one gender trapped on an island. And that's about it. In Lord of the Flies, the plot of Lord of the Flies, if you haven't read it, is this old boys school trip is on a plane, and the plane goes down and only the boys survive, and they're left alive to run around on this island and form their own society. And things basically fall apart because they are children who don't know how to do jack shit. And they form their little own social groups, and things run amok and people die. Because again, they're children. I don't know, I don't really particularly like Lord of the Flies, but I like Lord of the Flies better than this. So there you go. Like I said, it's an all-girls boarding school, and they're stuck on an island because the school is on an island. And that's where the parallels end. Throughout this whole thing, there are teachers that are alive and are telling these children what to do. And at no point are they really like making their own decisions until like at the very, very end, when all the teachers have finally died off. But at no point are they like forming their own society or trying to figure out how to live on their own, or basically going from children to adults in like it's like a quick time frame. They're not. So, I mean, they have to like grow up rather quickly, and obviously because they're dealing with this horrendous virus and they're quarantined and nobody's allowed to go on the island to visit them or anything like that. It's different because they have connections with the outside world and they're being brought supplies and they have a sense of order. In Lord of the Flies, they lost their sense of order. They tried to create a new sense of order, and that collapsed really quickly because they be children, and children are stupid. In Wilder Girls, the order has been shaken up, but it still is there. The teachers are still in charge and are telling the students what to do. Just because the students don't spend their time going to class anymore doesn't mean the order is like, oh, it's all crazy. No, it's still the same. It's still like teacher, student. So before the talks, it was teacher, student. After the talks, teacher, student. There's differences, but it's not the same conflict that you see in Lord of the Flies. So there you go. Okay, so let's take it aside that this isn't a feminist retelling of Lord of the Flies. Is it a good book on its own? I would argue no. I had problems throughout all this. So one of the twists is the students aren't allowed to leave the grounds of the school and they're quarantined, which if you read it, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because this is an isolated island where the only people on this island are the girls, so they should be able to leave the grounds, but they're not. And then you find out the reason that they're not is because the government research facility that's studying the talks has set up in the old like welcome center. So the reason that the girls have to stay on the ground is because they don't want the girls running around and infecting like the soldiers and the researchers and stuff like that. And this is treated like a twist, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why they couldn't just tell the girls, hey, the research people are located in the welcome center and we don't want you infecting them, so you can't leave the grounds unless you have like explicit permission to do so. I don't know why that was treated as a twist. I don't know why it was treated as some mystery that Piety, when she was taken away from the school, she wasn't. So Bayete, so I don't understand when Bayete's condition gets worse, they go and they put her in the hospital wing. And Hetty goes to visit her and she sees that Bayete, I'm calling her Bayete. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it, Bayete. She sees that Bayete isn't in the hospital wing. And instead of saying, hey, her condition got worse, so we're taking her over to the government research people so they can like look into it, it's just treated like a mystery. I don't understand. This is like a widespreading contagion. Like, why wouldn't the researchers and stuff like that be more hands-on? Why would it have to be kept a secret that they shipped her off to go get better at the actual hospital with the actual doctors? I don't get it. I don't get it, Rory Power. Explain it to me. Why? Why are these things kept secret? I don't understand. So Hetty decides to go find Bayete because reasons, and she escapes in the middle of the night to go, because she thinks they're keeping Bayete in this house somewhere and they're going to ship her off to the mainland, which again, I don't understand what the big issue is. Oh, no, I remember. The big issue was that they were inferring that Bayete was going to be like a research subject or like something, like she was going to die. Actually, I don't know what, they didn't even figure that part. But either way, Hetty and third main character like sneak out and they find out that like Bayete isn't being kept at this house that they go sneak off to, and for that they break quarantine and they don't find out anything about Bayete. And then they like sneak back inside and somehow the research scientists knew that they broke quarantine. So instead of being like, don't do that, they decided to like run away from the island, the scientist people. Going back to the beginning, we find out that Bayete is the second point of view character. So we get her point of view when she's taken off to the research station. And there at the research station, you find out the doctors are indeed trying to help her and trying to fix whatever is wrong with her. So, which makes the actions of the three main characters even more frustrating. But that's fine because it's not like the three main characters had a crystal ball and could like tell what was going on. But it's implied that Bayete is kind of like a psychopath and that she's just a compulsive liar. And at one point, Bayete is left alone with one of the like young soldiers and he takes her for a walk. Like, who authorized this? Why is nobody besides one person watching her? She's got a contagion. Anyways, she kisses him, even though he doesn't want to. She's like, no, it's fine. I'm not going to give it to you. You can't catch it. And then for some reason, he's like, oh, yeah, that checks out. And he kisses her and he gets the contagion. And because he's a dude, he basically dies within like 24 hours. And it's like, holy crap. This person we're supposed to have like invested interest in and care about is a psychopath. Or at least like a really terrible person. I'm not too sure why I'm supposed to care if Hetty finds her or not. Like, I'm not supposed to care about her friendship with Hetty. Like, Hetty seems pretty cool. Hetty seems really dumb, but she seems pretty cool. So, I don't know. But anyways. So then the research scientist, who apparently did not tell this soldier, hey, don't effing touch her, she'll give you the disease, is all like shocked that he got it somehow. And it's like, gee, I wonder if he touched her. Maybe that's it. Maybe you should investigate that. So nobody else in the research team or whatever gets infected or anything like that because they're smart enough not to touch her. But because this one bonehead did and got sick, and they decided not to like ask him how he got sick or something, they decided to like run off and evacuate. And they don't like tell the teachers this. They don't say, hey, we're no longer They don't say we're no longer helping you or anything like that. They send this by sending the teachers and some of the students a gas tank bomb, something like that. So they can like gas themselves and like just kill each other off, like screw like any chance at research because they had like one broken egg. I don't think that's how science works, but okay. One of the teachers kills herself right then and there because she doesn't want to gas her students, and then the students bring the gas bomb back to the school because they're like, oh, what else are we gonna do with it? And the remaining teacher there is like, oh no, line up, everybody get into this giant room, and they're like, okay. And then shocked, that teacher had like wired that room to pipe in the gas, so they die. So Hetty breaks out and saves everybody's lives. But oh no, Hetty forgot to lock the gate, and now one of the crazy rabid bears that live on the island has broken into the school grounds. And oh no, it's busted in through the door and is now murdering people. But don't worry, Hetty goes to the teacher that like gassed them and goes, hey, you tried to murder all of us. That's really not cool. And you're a terrible, terrible person for doing that. And so she kills the teacher that tried to kill her, which, you know, fair. But then Hetty, who let the bear onto the school grounds, mind you, abandons all the other students and like runs off the third main character and is like, we gotta go find Bayate. And it's like, fuck Bayate at this point. Like, all those students could have been like passively gone to sleep because they got gassed. But no, now they're gonna die through bear mauling. And you take the only gun that you all have access to and you abandon them. And this kind of goes to my biggest problem with Wilder Girls, is that there is no likable character in this whole damn book. And that would be fine if I felt like I wasn't supposed to like them. But I got the impression from Lori Powers I was supposed to feel empowered by this book, that I was supposed to really like these characters. And I didn't. I did not at all like these characters. And none of this is analyzed. None of this is like, hey, Hetty, maybe we should talk about how, like, you're kind of a hypocrite because you yelled at that teacher for threatening to kill you all, but then you willingly caused the death of all your students because you're a dumbass and you left the gate open. Like, there's just nothing is analyzed. Nothing is reviewed or taken apart or anything. That's Wilder Girls. They run off. They saved Bayate, thank God. Yay, raise the roof for that. And again, the book just ends because Rory Powers didn't want to write anymore. So that's how it is. You're just stuck in the middle of the ocean with our 3 characters while jets are on their way to nuke the island. Jets are on their way to nuke the island, where all the poor girls who did nothing wrong, who followed orders, who stayed out of trouble, who didn't get anybody killed, they get nuked. But don't worry, our main characters who are responsible for all this, nothing happens to them. They get to live and spread the talks to the mainland. And again, like I said, I would be fine with not liking any of these characters. I would be fine with them being hypocrites. I would be fine with the ambiguous ending if it felt like there was a good point to this. But as I closed the book and I turned away, I realized there was no point to Wilder Girls. So that's it. Rating, I keep every time I think of star rating for this book, I keep dropping it, and I really do think it's a 1 out of 5 star. Which, yikes. I feel like that's so unfair though. But yeah, 1 out of 5. Sorry. Yeah. Well, if you like this review, if you like this ranting, please like, subscribe, comment down below. If you disagree with me, comment down below. Please explain why. If you think I'm totally off base and this is exactly like a feminist retelling of Lord of the Flies, please write so down below. I'm always down for like an alternate opinion, you know? But anyways, yeah.